Hey everyone, Alay Yajnik here with Lawyer Business Advantage, and we are going to be going through the second tab on the law firm blueprint today. This is for firms that don't charge by the hour, so they're flat fee type of work, or perhaps some form of contingency type work, or perhaps a hybrid. Before you use this, you're going to need to know a couple of things or be able to guess at a couple of things. One of the key things is if you look at all the matters that are going on in your firm, um, what is the average amount of revenue that you bring in per matter? That's going to be one critical thing you're going to need to know. The other thing you're going to need to know, again, on an average basis, about how much time is required for the attorney, for the paralegal, and for the legal secretary, again, on a typical matter. So again, the reason we use this worksheet is we use it to figure out who we need to hire and when we need to bring them on board. And this worksheet is available to you for free on lawyerbusinessadvantage.com. You just have to join the community. It doesn't cost anything, and you can get access to this worksheet. So the first thing we want to do is figure out how much revenue we want to bring in for the firm. So let's go ahead and we'll just put down 2 million. It's a nice round number. So let's just assume, remember one of the things I said is we have to know how much we charge or how much revenue we bring in per matter. Let's assume that each matter on average brings in about $5,000. Okay. And if you don't know, you can really easily just add up your revenue for the year and divide it by the number of matters you had. That gives you your average price per matter. So we've got $5,000 per matter, and their average annual revenue there is $2 million. That's our target. So a couple of different ways we can do this. You can just plug in different numbers, or if you're like me and you want to be kind of lazy, you can open up your calculator here. Take 2 million and divide it by 5,000, and you get 400 matters. So we need about 400 matters over the course of the year. Okay. And that gives us the annual revenue of 2 million. So the projected annual revenue versus target is spot on, which is why this is 0. So the next thing we needed to know was the average cost the average time it takes for each role in each matter, or in the average matter, excuse me. So let's assume that it takes about 2 hours for the attorney. 2 hours of attorney time is required on average per matter. And let's say for a paralegal, it's going to take a bit more of their time. So let's say it's more like, I don't know, 5 hours. And for a legal secretary, it takes some of their time as well. Let's say that is about 5 hours as well. Okay, so this is going to vary depending on your firm. And let's say we're paying the attorney a W-2 salary, and let's say it's about, by the time you roll in benefits and everything, it amounts to about $350 an hour. Okay, so what this is going to tell us is a few things. It gives us the payroll rate. This is what we're paying them, including an adder for benefits. The estimated hours it takes to work on an average matter in the firm. And if we're doing 400 matters, we're going to require about 0.8 of an attorney, so round up to 1 attorney. We're going to need 1.3 paralegals, so basically 2, and we're going to need 1.3 legal secretaries, so basically 2. Now let's say that we don't want to hire, we don't want to have a paralegal and a legal secretary because we're not really using a full body of either. So let's just say, for argument's sake, that we are going to move the hours from the legal secretary to the paralegal. So these hours go to 0 because we're not using a legal secretary for this, and we're now going to bump it up to, let's say, 10. Okay. And now you can see we need 1 attorney and 2 paralegals. 3 paralegals. And so maybe that wasn't such a good move, right? Because paralegals cost more than legal secretaries. So we're going to go ahead and move it back to 5 hours each. Okay, that gives us 2 paralegals and 2 legal secretaries. So you can play with these to see what you want to do. We're going to go ahead and leave it just like this, just for the purposes of our discussion. It's going to vary quite a bit for your firm. So that's the number of people that are required. This is what it's going to cost you per matter. So $700 for the attorney time, $175 for the paralegal, and $100 for the legal secretary. Now, one important point, the payroll rate for the attorney, even if the only attorney at the firm is you, and even if you're not paying yourself a salary today, I want you to put in a payroll rate. Your time is worth something, and we have to build it into our calculations for the firm. So make sure you put a dollar amount in there that is a good, accurate representation of what your hourly rate should be. All right, billable hours per week. This is your capacity. So 20 hours a week for the attorney, 30 hours a week for the paralegal, and 30 hours a week for the legal secretary. You can change these for your firm if you like, but bear in mind that these hours are set to make a realistic balance between work-life balance, business development time, unproductive time, that kind of thing. Okay. The projected gross profit per matter. So we're making on the average after we pay out the salaries about $4,000 per matter. And that gives us an annual gross profit of 1.6 million before all of our expenses. So this is after we pay out the salaries and wages. Not bad. So now we've got to figure out when we're going to hire these people. So we're starting off with a partner, bookkeeper, accountant, and IT. If you're starting off a firm with just yourself, please don't try to do these three functions on your own. You want to have access to a bookkeeper, you want to have access to an accountant, and you want to have a good IT person. You will waste far more time and incur more cost trying to do it on your own than by having access to these resources. So make sure you have them when you start in your firm. Your first hire is usually going to be that paralegal. So we're going to put in the first paralegal here. Now with the paralegal, you're going to be paying them hourly probably, so you want to have a payroll service like Gusto or whatever you want to use, QuickBooks, it's all good. And you may need some sort of scheduler or intake person, a virtual assistant, someone like that to handle the intake process and scheduling your time and the time of your paralegal. The second hire we're going to make, let's say it's going to be that first legal secretary. Remember, we need two, so we're going to put the first one down here. And now we've got a partner, a paralegal, and a legal secretary. Now it's time to hire that second paralegal. And at about this time is when you want to think about bringing on some sort of marketing consultant for your firm, because they're going to help you take your business development efforts beyond just what you can do on your own. They can use other forms of marketing beyond just your time and your networking to bring in additional clients to your firm. And then the last hire for your firm would be a legal secretary. Okay, and at this point, you've got some employees. You've got 4 employees plus yourself. Makes sense to go get an HR consultant to help you with employee handbook and trainings and all that sort of thing. So if you have these people in this order, you are going to basically have a $2 million firm that produces about $1.6 million after it pays the cost of labor involved. Excuse me. When you decide to hire and move up this sequence depends on when you get full. So when you are billing out your 20 hours, right, when you're hitting your capacity, 20 hours a week, that's when you want to hire your paralegal. When you and your paralegal are each at your capacity, so 20 hours for you, 30 hours for the paralegal, then you hire the legal secretary. When all 3 of you are at capacity, then you hire the paralegal. And finally, when all 4 of you here are at capacity, that's when you want to hire your legal secretary. So this is a way that you can balance hiring, so the capacity of your firm, how much work you can do, with the demand, which is the client demand for your services, in a way that you're not hiring too quickly or too slowly. I hope you found this really helpful. Again, you can download it for free at lawyerbusinessadvantage.com. Just join the community and download it. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to me through our website or email me directly at la@yajnikgroup.com. Thank you so much.